Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. This year is on its way out, and today's show is all about what was best in 2020. From movies to makeup and everything in between, we've got a list of all the great things we discovered this year. Let's get started. Listeners, it's almost the end of 2020. When this episode comes out, we will only have 2 days left in this remarkable year. Julie and Mindy, how does that make you feel?
Where did the year go?
I can't wait to get rid of this year.
I know. I was reading on a different Instagram post where somebody said, stop referring to it as unprecedented and try the word remarkable. And so that word is maybe a little more positive, because there were some positive things.
Yeah.
I was just grocery shopping, and between myself and the lady checking me out, we both agreed that many wonderful things happened this year. So it's really nice. It's not all been bad.
Right.
It's that whole silver lining thing.
There you go.
But it can be exhausting to keep looking for that silver lining.
Oh, girl. Yes.
Yeah. And while 2020 has gotten a pretty bad reputation, and deservedly so, there were some good things that happened, and we don't want to end the year on a bad note, so we have compiled our best of 2020 list. So we're going to share our best books and TV shows and products and events and recipes and apps and everything that we could think of that we could share, all the things that we did enjoy and that made this year more pleasant. And I'm excited to hear from you guys what you have on your lists.
Yeah, I want some new ideas.
Julie, I've got my pen and paper ready because you guys always have the best ideas.
All right, well, let's get started. And of course, we're going to start out with our podcast. So we'll just get that right out of the way. What was your favorite podcast episode that we did this year? Mindy, what was it?
I thought it was ever. It wasn't this year.
Okay, well, if you didn't, it's okay. Just do your ever one then.
Okay, sorry. This particular podcast just sticks out in my mind. It was episode 20. It was in our first year of podcasting. And the title was Lost, Love, and New Life with Elizabeth Boyd. And her particular story was just so compelling, encouraging, life-giving. And it's a hard story in places. And so that still stands out in my mind as my favorite episode that we have aired.
That was a good one.
I've heard that from a lot of people, actually.
Yeah.
That was a good story.
So listeners, if you have not heard episode 20, go back and listen. All right, Julie, what was your favorite podcast episode of 2020?
I really loved the episode Let's Go Camping with girl camper Janine Pettit.
That was fun.
Yes.
She was so fun, and it just opened my eyes up to a whole world I didn't know much about, and I'm excited to try camping in this next year.
Yes, I'm excited to vicariously live through you trying camping.
Now I can see you doing that, Julie. That's a real goal.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I would be remiss if I had not made this my favorite podcast episode because
I know.
You guys know I'm a huge fan of Gretchen Rubin. And we did her whole Happier at Home book series starting last September of 2019 and into I think we finished in June of 2020. And for our last episode, she came on. That was episode 85. And she came on and talked with us about her Happier at Home book project, just about what we had learned, what she learned through it. And it was so exciting. And listeners, if you have not heard that one, that is episode 85. And I'd really encourage you to go back and listen to it.
I love that too, Marie, because that was one of your dream guests. Like when we talked a long time ago, you mentioned Gretchen Rubin was like a dream guest that you didn't think she would ever come on. And so that was really a dream come true.
It really was.
It was.
Yes. So that's an awesome episode, and that is my favorite one of 2020. All right. Well, then we also had on our list, what is just your favorite podcast of 2020? Mindy, I know you're not a huge podcast listener, but did you start listening to any podcasts in 2020 that you'd like to share?
Well, I just started listening more, and I've shared this in the year, but Tim Keller, Gospel in Life, I've mentioned that before. in particular this year, especially, I know I mentioned before, his series on suffering was something that really was close to my heart earlier in the year. That was something that I listened to more hours on end than pretty much anything else, because I would go for long walks and turn that on. And it just, that is my favorite podcast. So life-giving.
It is a good one. Yeah, for sure.
I love that.
Yeah. Julie, what was your favorite podcast of 2020?
Well, this is one that I've started listening to just in the last couple of months. It's called At Home with Sally, and it's Sally Clarkson. And she is an author. She's a mom of 4 adult children. And she was kind of a homeschooling pioneer in Nashville. And I've actually never met her, but a lot of my friends have met her, are friends with her personally. Mm-hmm. So I'm just kind of getting to know her through her podcast and her books. She shares stories on her podcast and inspiration and biblical encouragement. And she just always seems to be in tune with things that mothers feel. And I just always come away encouraged, no matter what the topic is. She can speak to young moms or old moms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. I have not checked that out
yet.
Yeah, me
too.
At Home with Sally.
Yeah, and one of her big things is cultivating a home that is kind of life-giving for your children and your family. And I just like that whole concept about, the traditions and rhythms of your home and how that influences your family life.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
That sounds like a good one. I would be remiss if I did not have Gretchen Rubin's podcast, Happier at Home, is my favorite. And you guys, every year, I think I'm going to discover a better podcast, and I never have discovered a better one for me. She's on like episode 300 or something, and I get something new every time, and you would not think that you would, but it's always about making your life happier. And let me just share this thing that I listened to last week. She had people share their personal policies, and tell me if you've ever heard this. So you can have a personal policy about anything, but people wrote in, and one person said their personal policy, they've learned to accept no for an answer. Often people will couch their no in an excuse, and we feel like we need to try to solve their problem, and then they end up having to come up with a different reason or a less polite way of getting out of it. And now she just accepts no as the person's answer and moves on. And I had never thought about that. Like, she used the example of a carpool. Like, if I say, oh, do you want to join my carpool? And the other mom says no, I just take no as the answer. I don't say, oh, well, do you need to come at a different time? Or is it that those days don't work for you? I just accept no, because it could be that the person doesn't want to say to me, well, I've noticed you always run late. Maybe they don't want to be a part of it. And so I feel like I do always try to solve people's problems, though. Like when I propose that we meet for lunch and you say no, well, I feel like I would propose a different day or time then. But, what do you guys think?
Mm-hmm. I could see it both ways. I really can. I think with certain relationships, you should keep trying to find a way. If those are relationships you really do need to cultivate. Mm-hmm. But with other people, I could see that. Like they'll contact you if they want to get in the carpool. Like,
I think maybe there might be a deeper story behind some people's no's than others, maybe.
Yeah. I just feel like if somebody gives me like a time excuse or like, oh, well, that day doesn't work for me, maybe they're secretly glad and they just want to get out of it. But my first instinct might be to say like, well, let's find a time that works for you. So I'm just going to keep that in mind. Like maybe the person's no is no, and I don't need to feel pressure to solve their problem. Like if they want to solve it. And instead, I always am like, oh, well, if I don't try to solve it, they'll think I don't really care.
No, I could see that. No, maybe let them come to you. Huh?
Yeah. So even this week, I learned something new, and it stuck with me enough that I wanted to ask you guys how you deal with that.
That's really cool. I made a policy this week for myself.
What is it?
When I'm working at DW, I cannot shop while I'm working.
Okay, that is a good personal policy.
Yes. If you want a paycheck.
Exactly.
That's an awesome one. All right, well, we do have down music/artist that is new to us. And you guys, I did not make up this particular category because I rarely listen to music that does not just come on the radio. So you guys let me know. Mindy, do you have any new music to share?
Well, it's new to me.
Okay.
People are going to hear this and they're like, yeah, they've been out forever. But I just happen to love this group this year in particular, Dan and Shay.
Okay.
It is a country music group. I love their music. It makes me feel so happy and just light. And it's just got like an easygoing sound. I love their sound. So Dan and Shay.
Yes, I like some of their songs too. And Julie, what did you have down?
Well, my artist is not new either, but I will say that she keeps me going. Lauren Daigle, after seeing her live last September, I love her even more.
Aww.
And just her lyrics are so powerful and so meaning. And it's really rare for me to like every song on an album, but I can truly say there's no song that I just want to skip over. I want to hear them all.
Oh, okay.
So that's a good album.
Yeah. All right. Well, here's another one that I did not have anything for, but I know that this is of interest to listeners. We were supposed to put down the best makeup product of 2020. You guys, I literally have hardly even worn makeup, and I probably need to replace all my makeup from last year from how little I've used it.
Uh-oh.
But you guys let me know what you discovered. And Mindy, I know you're makeup extraordinaire, so what do you have for us? You can have two, and you can replace mine.
Gosh, you're making me so excited. Okay. Well, my makeup product, once I find something, I stick with it. And so my favorite makeup product is my foundation. It's by Tarte.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the Amazonian Airbrush. It's a loose foundation, but it has great coverage. It's light enough, or you can put a little more on if you need to. And so for Marie, your favorite makeup product is the Tarte Primer.
Okay.
And it's a tinted primer, and it goes right along with my Amazonian Airbrush foundation.
Perfect.
What a coincidence.
And I just love them so much. And there's also an SPF in it too. So I can work out. My skin still looks good. I'm not getting burned by the sun. Everybody's happy.
Oh, that is great. I do love those products, Mindy.
Okay.
All right, Julie, what do you have for us?
Okay, I'm actually really excited about this because I, like you, Marie, I'm not really a makeup-y person, but during COVID, I did always wear one item every day, and that was mascara. And so this item is Thrive Causemetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. And a friend of mine, it kind of brings back memories to my camping trip in January last year. My friend Janet told me about it. That was when we were naive to COVID and life was great.
You thought you might wear mascara a lot more.
Yeah, I thought I might be wearing lots of makeup and traveling the world wearing it. But anyway, I looked it up. And it says award-winning mascara powered by flake-free tubing technology. And that is so cool because when you take it off, like it just comes off with water, but you see, it looks like little eyelashes in the sink. And it's like it has formed a tube around your eyelashes and it just slips off with water. It's really cool.
Okay.
Wow.
And have you noticed that it has that under eye smudge?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So I really, I don't really often love a makeup product, but I can back this one up.
All right.
I'll have to actually try that, even though I already like my mascara. That sounds awesome.
You can never have too many mascaras, Mindy.
Back to Ulta.
Okay. Well, here is a category that I do actually have two things for, but I'll let you guys share first. TV shows, because I think we've all watched a lot more TV this year. Mindy, what was your favorite TV show of 2020?
All right. Well, I recently mentioned that Bryce and I found The Mentalist. Again, it's new to us. It is not a new show, but we have really enjoyed watching The Mentalist.
I'm going to have to check that out because we're nearing the end of a series, so I might have to move on to that one.
I just love watching murders get solved. I don't know what it is. It's so comforting.
You missed your calling, Mindy. Julie, what was your favorite TV show?
Well, I have two. The Crown is something I look forward to. I've been waiting on that new season to come out. And I love this season because it features Princess Diana, and that was actually a time period that I could actually remember happening in real life. So that makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
And also a show I've mentioned before is Endeavor. And so now we're currently watching season 7 of that.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Well, I have 2 also because I feel like I have shows that I might watch by myself, and then I have shows that I would watch with Steve because he's not going to watch just any old show that I pick out. So my first show that I have to recommend, I watched this way back in January. In January, I shared that after the holidays, I always like to take like a mental break, and I find that I usually always watch an entire series of something at home alone during the day. The kids are finally back to school. And this year I watched A French Village, and it has stuck with me the entire year.
Oh.
It is French subtitles, but I'm telling you, it is so good. And it is set right after World War II in central France, and it's about the German occupation of this village. And it's not about war battles. It's about people, and it's about the choices that they have to make and the compromises that they have to make. And I love this sentence that someone wrote. It says, "The series illuminates the agonizing choices people face when survival means treachery and resistance, torture, and death. And you are on the edge of your seat the whole time."
You definitely won't romanticize war after this one.
No.
Wow.
And it is good. And each season is like a year of the occupation. So when you get to the next one, then it's the next year. And it is excellent. I loved it. Some people actually did watch it. It was I'm a fan, and some people did watch it and message me and say they loved it too. So if you can, if you don't mind watching some subtitles, I mean, I felt like I could speak French by the end of that series.
I need to get back to that because I did start it. I think I watched most of season 1, maybe. It was just hard to watch with the subtitles because you have to look at the screen all the time. Like you can't be doing something else.
Right. And I will
say, I did enjoy it.
Julie used 2 words that are kind of insulting to the series, but I will admit there is a grain of truth. She called it a little bit like a soap opera, and it is. But I am telling you, it is addicting, and not a cheesy way. But I mean, there is some relationships that you're following.
Well, hey, if you like soap operas, this is for you.
So anyways, I hadn't really thought about that till Julie mentioned that. And then I was like, oh, that is true. Okay, and then my next series is one that you can watch with your husband. And you guys, we have been devouring this season, or this show. It's called Hell on Wheels, and it's on Netflix. And you think it's going to be like about biker gang, but it's not. It's about the building of the first transcontinental railroad, which again, you say snooze, but I am telling you, it is so good. So it starts out with the main character on a quest for revenge for those that murdered his wife, the people in Sherman's army. This happens right after the Civil War. But then he gets hired by the railroad, and then it's all about the railroad. And I mean, it is dealing with Indians and Mormons and every ethnic group you can possibly imagine. And there are just horrible things that these people deal with. It is so good. You love following the storyline. It's so action-packed. I love it. Hell on Wheels. Definitely check it out. Now, after I've raved about it, I do just have to say that it is ending on Netflix December 30th. So we are just squeaking in finishing. But I can't imagine that it's not going to go to another streaming service. It's got like 5 seasons. It's been really popular. So watch for it to come to like Amazon Prime or Hulu or something else, because I think it's going to show up somewhere else. And if you see it, click play.
Awesome.
Yeah,
all right.
That's a good one. All right, you guys. At the beginning of 2020, we set up all these goals, all these things that I can remember Julie talking about, habits. And she had a long list of habits that she was implementing. But 2020 really got us off track. So Julie put down, what is your best habit of 2020? And I can't wait to hear what you came up with, Julie.
Well, it is not making my bed every day, like I said.
Okay, was that going to be it?
That lasted until late March.
Well,
and
that's
then,
pretty long.
Yeah, but with the quarantine and no one here, and it just was like, nah, we're not doing that anymore.
Right. You never get out of bed. You just sleep in later and later.
Get out of bed So yeah, it's just ready to hop back in at any moment. So
Okay.
no, that ended quickly. But so my habits were of late. I loved observing Advent this year, getting up every morning and observing Advent, lighting those candles, having my coffee, and then having afternoon tea and sitting by my fire. Those are my habits that are going to continue until spring.
Okay. You're going to do Advent right through spring.
Not Advent, but the lighting the candles, the fire, and the tea. Those are the habits I am loving right now.
That sounds like good ones. Yes, yes. Mindy, what do you have for habit of 2020?
Okay. This is a habit that I did start in January of 2020. And I let it go for a little while there in the middle of the year, but I've found it again. Intermittent fasting. I actually love it. My body feels great. I sleep better. My stomach feels better. If I just have kind of an open eating window and then I close my eating window and I make no more food decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So that has been a habit that I've loved that I found this year.
All right. I hear a lot about that.
Yeah.
And I know that that's very successful for a lot of people. So that's great that you were able to get back on it. You know, sometimes when we let a habit go, it's hard to start back up. So
I'm curious, when is your window? What time?
Well, okay. So if I can control it, if I'm kind of, by myself or whatever, I'm typically between like 1 and 4 during the day. Like I'll eat kind of one big meal. And the rest of the day, I'm drinking black coffee and water. If we have people that we're, getting together with, or we're going out to eat, then I adjust the window. Like,
okay.
I'm flexible because I have to social eat with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, my habit is not a daily habit, but I actually am pretty proud that I semi-consistently worked in 2020. And as of Black Friday, I am currently through 2019 on my photo albums.
Wow.
So I am technically up to date because you can't even really do 2020 until 2020 ends.
True. That's true.
Because you have so many exciting things to take pictures of.
I know. This small little window, I feel pretty caught up on that. And that's just a big relief. And that was actually started by one of the months that we did with our Happier and Home project. It was like, do something hard for 15 minutes a day. And I was not successful in doing that for 15 minutes every single day. But I was successful in making myself sit down every few months and hammer out a book. So
wow, I'm impressed, Marie. That is truly amazing.
I'm feeling bad. My habit requires no effort or work.
Well, you have to make the tea, build the fire.
Yeah, I know. You're out there chopping wood, Julie.
I mean, come on.
All right. Well, here we are on clothing, and we're supposed to pick out our best item of clothing for 2020. And Mindy is like jumping out of her seat. What do you have for us, Mindy?
I'm super excited. I love the brand Madewell. Mm-hmm. And it is a company out of California, but they have shops, popping up all over the place. I was so excited that they had a Madewell in Knoxville. And I just got the very best pair of jeans from there. And they were Black Friday prices, so not as expensive as they could be. Yeah. And I just love these things. I feel like $1 million when I wear them. And they're just absolutely perfect in every way.
Are they rivaling the white jeans that you said you felt like $1 million in at Easter?
Okay.
The other most perfect pair of jeans.
Okay, y'all, I love J. Crew, and I will go back to them, but right now it's all about Madewell.
Okay.
Now, if I could do Madewell and J. Crew, that's my style right there.
Okay. I have never tried out Madewell jeans. I know people rave about them. I think it's because I would have to go down to an area of town that I perceive as having a lot of traffic, so I avoid it at all costs. But I should just do it, especially in 2020. I mean, the traffic's not that bad.
It's not. I mean, if it's near the Trader Joe's that you guys have talked about, just, hey, one-stop shop, food, jeans, you're good.
All right. Julie, what's your favorite pair, or what is your favorite item of clothing?
So you already know what I'm going to say, right?
Well, I think it might
my
be
joggers.
Joggers. It was one of your I'm a fans.
Yeah. I think you say it Vuori, Vuori joggers. They are the most comfortable pants on the planet, the most comfortable fabric. They feel like a soft t-shirt. And I think I told this story. I was running late to a workout and didn't have my clothes with me. Like I was already out.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran into REI, just grabbed these pants off the shelf, and I get up to the checkout and they were like $98. And I thought, what am I doing? I thought, well, I can bring them back. Well, I have lived in them ever since. They are great. So I have gotten my money's worth out of those.
You can shop at Madewell for $98.
And look a little better, probably. But I want to say one more thing, and this is thanks to Mindy, the Old Navy high-waisted Elevate Power Soft 7/8 length leggings with side pocket.
Oh,
That's the longest title ever. Those are my absolute favorite workout pants ever. So I bought 2 pair.
Oh, that's
I'm so thrilled. I have like 6 pair now, Julie. I just bought purple because I was like, okay, I can't do black all the time or gray and black. So I'm loving my purple ones. You should try.
I got the snakeskin, which is not me, but I get more compliments on those pants. And then the kind of dark teal green. I love them.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they are the best. I'm glad you love them. They're my favorite workout pants.
Need to go get more.
I actually have some Old Navy, what is it called? Like their Super Cash or whatever. I need to get down there and maybe look. I don't know what is my mind. Like I have a block against trying on pants. It just seems like the worst. And I cannot get excited to go out to the store and try on pants. But I hear both of you guys now love those. I should just break down and go try them on.
You could probably just go by your size.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I ordered mine. I didn't even go in the store. I think I ordered it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, you guys, I am on the total opposite end of the $98 pants and the Madewell jeans. I have hardly ever bought any clothing from Target. The odd t-shirt here or there. But back in the spring, when everything was closed down and I needed some summer clothes, I just went to Target and bought a bunch of things and then took back what didn't fit because you couldn't try them on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was really happy with the items I had bought there. I know that they're probably, in quotes, fast fashion and won't last more than a summer or two. But, I enjoyed wearing them. They fit well. They washed well. I was happy with them. So I probably will buy some more things from Target. I don't know. In my mind, I just kind of had a mental block against them. But there are a lot of cute things.
Oh my gosh. Target's a go-to for Abby and I.
Mm-hmm.
Love
some of their
Target.
new brands I really like.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Target's always a good one. Yeah, for sure.
All right. On our list also is what was your best kitchen item of 2020? Mindy, what did you have?
All right. Well, this is mine is very affordable and it's just super cute. But I switched over. There's a funny story behind it. But I switched from margarine to butter this year.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process, my daughter's boyfriend is the one that got me to switch.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a gift, they bought me a butter dish at Target. It's by Threshold. It's just white with black lettering. It makes me so happy to see it sitting on my counter because the top of it just says butter me up. And I just think
cute.
It's adorable. I love the black and white. Like the font is cute. Anyways, so I love my little butter dish.
That's awesome. Yes. I had to replace my butter dish this year because I think I broke the top of it, I think. But yeah, I like to have butter on my counter because then it's soft and ready to use on toast.
Right.
Yeah.
Julie, what do you have for your kitchen gadget?
Well, I have 2 things. One is an oil sprayer. It's just a bottle that you can pour olive oil in or any oil. And then it replaces the aerosol sprays. So you can, spray down a pan or mostly put olive oil in mine. So I use it when I roast vegetables. You can just get a light coating instead of having to put a lot of excess on there. And then you're getting pure oil, not any additives or all the propellants, that kind of leave that sticky residue on your pans.
Right.
So I really like that. And I found it at thegrommet.com, which is a really cool, they have lots of gadgets.
Okay.
And then my absolute favorite is the Silpat silicone sheet. And basically it makes any cookie sheet or pan nonstick. You just roll it out, and I use it for cookies, biscuits. I even roast my vegetables on it. So your pan stays nicer, and
nice.
I really, really like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been kind of cheating this year, Julie, because I've really gotten into parchment paper, which kind of does the same thing, but then I just get to throw it in but I don't know what I was doing before parchment paper because it just makes cooking so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my favorite kitchen gadget is my cast iron skillet. I think I said in January's episode I'd gotten one for Christmas and I was going to be the year of learning how to use it. And I've really enjoyed it. I'm actually asking for a bigger one for this Christmas. So that's been my favorite one all year.
What's your favorite thing to cook in it?
Boy, I've been enjoying cooking my meat. I've been enjoying cooking my vegetables. Like, I don't know. I just feel like my meat is a lot more moist and I feel like my vegetables are a lot more tasty. Yeah. That's why I need two, because I want to be able to cook the vegetables and the meat at the same time, you know.
That's still on my want list. I think next year I'll be in the learning curve where you were this year.
Okay.
With that. I need to do that.
Yeah. Okay, our next category is books. What was your favorite book of 2020, Julie?
All right, this is something I didn't have anything for.
Oh, okay.
I know that's shocking to a reader, but I just couldn't get into reading during the whole quarantine. That just wasn't my thing. I did other things. Couldn't make myself read.
Yeah. All right. How about you, Mindy?
That's so funny. Ironically, I don't have a favorite book from this year either. And I'm like, I read all the time, but it's just these books on my Kindle app that I can get for free. So there's nothing mind-blowing about anything. Like they're just fluff reading and nothing stands out. I can't even tell you what I've read.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I thought that I would get a lot of reading done. Like, I thought with all the time we spent at home, like you, Julie, I thought I'd just be reading like crazy. But instead, I found myself reading news and social media and trying to figure out what was going on and what was going to happen next. And I just couldn't focus on a book, really. And I did read some fluff books that I probably don't care to share on air. But, they weren't anything like I need to recommend to the whole world. But so the best book I actually read this year was back in February before life changed. It was so good. I still remember my girls were at Wednesday night church. Remember when people used to go to Wednesday night church and it used to be in person? And I had dropped them off at youth group and I was just wandering the aisles at TJ Maxx. Remember when we used to just wander the aisles, you guys? And I remember I was listening to this book and actually tears came to my eyes. It's so, so good. And you guys probably remember it was one of my I'm a fans. But The Only Plane in the Sky by Garrett Graff is my favorite 2020 book. It is an oral history of 9/11. And they interview so many people in the towers and people that were affected by 9/11. And I would highly recommend listening to it because you get all their different voices and it is just gripping. I mean, I seriously was so emotionally involved and invested in this book. It was excellent. So it has to be my favorite.
All right.
Oh, I do remember you talking about that.
Yeah. All right. We're up to movies. Now, surely you've seen some movies, Julie.
I have, but I don't think they're new to 2020.
Okay.
I have two.
Nothing new to 2020 in the movie department.
Actually, this one might be. One of them might be. All right, but my first one is an old one. It just meets all the great qualities of a movie for me. It's the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society. It's a hard title, I know, but this movie is warm. It's funny. It has a wartime setting and it's British. And so it has all the perfect elements. And it's about finding connection with people in a kind of surprising way. Takes place on the island of Guernsey during the German occupation of World War II and then just after the war. I don't know. It's just a feel-good movie for me. I really like it.
Yeah. I actually read the book, Julie, and I loved the book. And then when I saw they made a movie out of it, I could never bring myself to watch it because I always feel like movies always fall flat for me if I've read the book. But maybe I need to give the movie a try.
You don't get the British scenery and the accents and just the beautiful images that are in the movie. So you need to watch it. I think you would like it.
Okay. I probably would.
I am going to mention another one. The reason I'm mentioning is it's because people might not have seen it because they would think that the subject doesn't interest them. But it's Ford versus Ferrari. Did you see that?
That's a great movie.
I did not see it. I've heard it's good.
Okay, I didn't want to see it. And then a friend of mine said, "Oh, Julie, it's great." And she's the kind of person that I would have thought oh, you liked a movie about car racing? Like I have
Yes.
zero interest in cars or racing,
Mhm.
but it's a story about the characters. It's definitely about it's a people movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
it stars Matt Damon and Christian Bale. So if you haven't seen it because you thought you were turned off by the subject, don't. It's really, really good.
It
Yeah.
is. I do second that. Very, very good.
I'll have to give that one a try then. Yeah, because, I did think, not really much of a car person.
You
but
could
Yeah.
watch that with Steve. Like the whole
Oh, yeah.
family would actually enjoy it. It's very good.
Oh, okay. Is it based on a true story?
Yeah.
Okay,
I was
great.
Googling the
Yes.
after the movie, like the movie ends, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like all over Wikipedia, and I'm online looking at the story. And
Mm.
yes, it's based on a true story.
Oh,
Yeah.
neat. Okay. Mindy, what was your favorite movie of 2020?
Not near as smart or anything as Julie's. Mine are total fluff. I've
That's
got
okay.
one movie that honestly they're not groundbreaking, but I loved them. So the first one is Second Act with Jennifer Lopez.
Oh,
That was
I don't know
actually-
if I saw that one.
It was on your want to see.
Yeah.
Oh,
or
I
something
did
like-
see that one. You're right.
Yes.
I did.
The reason I mention it is because that was new to me this year. It came out in like 2018, but
Okay.
I didn't see it till it was like free on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And so actually early in the year, I saw that and I was like, I actually really enjoyed that. So Second Act, I did find that this year and enjoyed it. And the other one that I loved this year is Crazy Rich Asians. And that is
Oh,
also
Yes,
I love
that
that
is
movie.
A new
really
movie?
good. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That is just so funny. I love the storyline. But yeah, those are my top two picks.
Yes.
That's a great one.
And if anyone's looking for a good book, that book is excellent too. I think I
Is
might have
it?
listened to that book and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, give it a try. All right, my favorite movie, I was thinking back, like, what is the last movie I saw? The last movie I saw was right before the end of 2019, the Little Women movie that came out last year that I actually went to the theater for. But I did see a couple Netflix movies this year, like new releases.
Yes.
And I talked about this one a few weeks ago. I loved The Trial of the Chicago 7. That was really great. And then I want to see this movie because I did really enjoy the book, Hillbilly Elegy, which came out over Thanksgiving on Netflix. I've heard it's really good. I've not gotten a chance to watch it yet, but maybe by the time this airs, I will have had a chance. Have either of
I've
you
watched
guys?
both of those.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah, I watched the Chicago 7, and that was really, really good. Very interesting. And I watched Hillbilly Elegy, and I didn't like it.
Oh, you didn't? But you read the book, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I liked the book, but I
Mhm.
didn't like the movie.
Yeah, it
Mm.
seems to be that there is that pervasive feeling when you read about it that people feel like the movie maybe didn't ring true or didn't live up to the book or had some,
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I have known people that read the book and loved the movie, and I've known people that read the book and didn't like the movie, so that's why I kind of
Mhm.
want to see it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it does have Glenn Close in it, and I mean, she always does a great
You
job.
won't recognize her.
Oh,
and you
wow.
won't recognize Amy Adams. It's just amazing.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, now we are up to things to do or place to go. And you guys, I didn't put down anything. Like, what was my favorite place? I mean, I went to the beach this year and I liked going, but that wasn't new to 2020. Did you guys go anywhere new in 2020 that you loved?
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think I might have mentioned this in one of our episodes, but I bought a membership to Cheekwood, the botanical gardens here in Nashville.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes.
In the summer, I would just drive over there and take my walk.
Oh.
And I bought a membership where I can take another person, and it doesn't have to be John. It's not like a couple. I could have any guest go.
Mhm.
And so I took a friend one day, and then I went back for the fall pumpkin thing. Chihuly Glass is there through January.
Mhm.
And then I want to go see the Christmas lights. They have a walkthrough.
Oh.
So it's really great in any season. It's just beautiful. And then you can also go in the house anytime and tour the house. And like right now, it's decorated for Christmas. So that was money well spent.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Mindy, what did you go or do that was new this year for you?
Well, gosh, we actually got to do a couple different things. We did get to go to a state I had never been in. In February, we went skiing in Vermont.
Okay.
And it was absolutely gorgeous. But I have to say, actually, my very favorite place that we went was when we went to Florida for 2 weeks in between our move between Pennsylvania and back to Tennessee. We had to kill kind of 2 weeks in there in the transition time. And the reason it was so memorable is because my oldest son had just moved out of the house, and we were a very new family of 4 with just 2 kids at home. And so this particular trip was the first time just the 4 of us, kind of our new dynamic, went somewhere together. And we went to 2 different places in Florida, and it just was such an enjoyable experience, kind of like getting to know Jacob and Nathan in a new way. And all the attention's on them. And it just was very memorable for all of us, kind of like the start of our new normal, which I know we're tired of saying, like the new normal, but this is a good thing.
Right.
Well, and if it's like our family, they probably were always in the way back of the car. Now they've moved up to a whole row in the car, and you can actually talk to them.
I know. It has been so sweet. I do love it. I love having more access to them, and just they're at such fun ages, and it's just a lot of fun.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad that you guys have some things on your list. I'm drawing a complete blank. Probably my family would be like, well, we went here. You didn't even remember it. I'm like, I don't know. I can't remember. I feel like I've been at home forever. All right. Well, what is your favorite Instagram account of 2020? Julie?
I have a new travel Instagram account myself, so I am really enjoying finding travel sites. And
cool.
Probably my favorite ones after visiting 5 national parks this summer. Each national park has an account. So there's Zion National Park, Bryce Canyon, Glacier National Park, and they just have incredible pictures like of all seasons and things that are going on. So I like to follow those. And then there's one that I absolutely love. It's new to me. Is called Tallwood Country House.
Oh.
And you just see the interiors of Tallwood Country House. It's a house in Virginia. And you would think you're looking inside Mount Vernon. Like, it is gorgeous. It's just beautifully inspiring pictures. And the neat thing is it's really a 1960s house that had linoleum and old pine cabinets and that they have totally remodeled in this English country vintage style.
Cool.
So I think it's really cool when they show you some of the before pictures to see what they have turned this place into. And it's not a very large home, it's small, but it's just such a pretty part of the social media world right now.
Tallwood Country House. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. What's your favorite Instagram account to be following, Mindy?
This came out of us interviewing Tiana Blaisdell about downsizing and minimalism. And she really encouraged us and our listeners to kind of find your style, to find inspiration, like, not just follow what everybody else does. And that got me looking for, inspiration for my own home. And I found an Instagram account. I think it's pronounced Vivir Design. It's VIVIR Design. And I love the style. I love all the pictures that they post. I mentioned before that Bryce has been drawing our dream house, and this goes hand in hand with that. So I send him pictures often of screenshots that I'm taking that Vivir Design posts. And there's beautiful scenery also. So it's not just about the inside, it's about how it interacts with the outdoors, which really speaks to my soul, and I just love their style. And so I'm getting a lot of inspiration from this particular Instagram account.
Oh, that's cool. That's really good. My favorite Instagram account of 2020 is one I had as an I'm a fan earlier this year, but I still love it. Everyday Mamas. And the reason I love it is because they often do home tours in their Insta stories, and people will take you through every room in their house and explain, why they decorated a certain way, where they got certain things. You can type questions, links to things they have. And most of these women are young to maybe a little bit older 20s, but I find it inspiring to see what they're doing in their homes. And it's just fun. You know, in 2020, we don't get to go into very many homes anymore. And it's fun to even just do it online. So if you're not following Everyday Mamas, check them out. And they keep their home tours right in their highlights. So you can go back and look at all the old ones.
Oh, okay. So it's just in the stories?
Yes, only in the stories.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So our next one is, what is your favorite app of 2020? I do not have an app to share, you guys. I rarely download an app on my phone. So I'm going to look to you guys for inspiration. Mindy, what do you have for us?
Okay. Well, new to me this year is my spending tracker app. And this is for me to put all of my receipts in so that I can keep up with my budget. I actually paid money to get the app that does not have pop-ups and advertisements.
Oh, yes.
I love it. I use it daily. It keeps me from having to have a wad of receipts, you know.
So do you take a picture of it?
No, I actually put in like, so Bryce does our budget on Quicken on the laptop. We put in and made the same categories for me to keep track. So I was able to change the category names so it matches what he has on the computer. So like groceries or eating out or, you know, things like that. And so I actually do have to like type in the amount that I spend and pick the category.
Okay.
But basically every month it gives me my new budget. I put in, you know, and pick the category and I just kind of keep up with it. So it keeps me good on my budget. You know, I'm not overspending. I'm more aware of what's happening financially.
Yeah. That works out really well. Julie, what's your favorite app?
Mine is an app called Lectio 365. It's Lectio. And it's a Christian daily devotional resource app. And what I love about it is it's available for you to read, or it has an audio version. So if you're on the go, if you're in your car, you can just hit play and it gives you time. It kind of follows the same format every day. And it's the acrostic pray. The P is pause. The R is reflect with a psalm. The A is ask God. And the Y is yield to his will. And it's about 10 minutes. And of course, you could take longer, but if you're just listening to it, and it comes out of the UK, so there's a lovely British accent reading the scripture. And in seasons like Advent and Lent, they'll have a special focus on that. But other times it's just going through scripture. It's a way to kind of pray scripture. And I've really, really liked it.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check that one out too. Those are two things that I do not have apps for, my budgeting or my devotions. I need to be stepping up my game. All right. What is your best recipe of 2020? Mindy, what do you have for us?
Okay, I recently found a recipe on Pinterest that my family has raved about. It's spicy shrimp tacos.
Ooh.
And they are delicious. And it's one of those meals that, I mean, it comes with like, I'm using all these ingredients that I don't usually use, which is awesome. But after I made it the first time, it got easier to make it the second time.
Okay.
So like it's even got like the slaw mixture with like fresh lime and cilantro and red onion mixed in it. And there's this spicy, is it sriracha sauce or whatever? Sriracha sauce. It's got the spicy sriracha sauce on top, and it tells you what to cook the shrimp in. And oh my gosh, these are amazing.
Oh, that sounds really good. I'd love some spicy shrimp tacos for lunch here.
Yes.
All right, Julie, what do you have for us?
Well, mine is an old recipe. You know how things get recycled in your family, you bring it back. And this is kind of a warm comfort food recipe. It's chicken and dumplings by the Pioneer Woman.
All her recipes are good.
Yeah, they are. And this is always a favorite. I've served it for company, and then usually people want the recipe. And I simplify it with using a rotisserie chicken. And it calls for carrots, onions, and celery chopped, which you can even buy those pre-chopped if you wanted to.
Oh, okay.
Normally a dumpling sounds hard because you think of rolling out a pastry dough and all, but you don't do that. These are drop dumplings. So you just take a spoon, drop the dumpling dough into the boiling, soup base, and it just pops up and cooks in the broth. So it's super easy.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Both of those sound great. You guys need to send those recipes to me. I will include them in the show notes. All right, you guys, we have 2 more categories. What women love shoes. What were your favorite shoes of 2020? And it sounds like we've all done a lot of walking, so I'm anxious to hear what you're putting down, Mindy.
How'd you guess, Marie? They are my pink Brooks Glycerin 18s. They are my favorite shoes. I have worn them so much. I actually want to replace them and get the exact same color.
That's great. I mean, it's always good to find an exercise shoe that you just want to buy the exact same thing again.
I do. I love them so much. And actually the light pink, I was concerned about it, but even with them getting a little bit dirty, it looks more tomboyish, but they're still pink.
Oh, good. All right, Julie, what's your favorite shoe of 2020?
Well, out of all the items in my wardrobe, shoes are by far my favorite thing to buy. And I just ordered my 3rd pair of Allbirds, which are athletic shoes, but they're merino wool. They're really soft. And what I like about them is they're really cute. They don't look like an athletic shoe. Like you can put them on with jeans and feel somewhat, casually dressed up with them. I always get the charcoal ones with the white soles. And I just ordered my 3rd pair. I was going to ask for them for Christmas, but I decided I couldn't wait. So.
I can't even wait. Merry Christmas to me.
That's right.
Let's see. I was thinking my favorite shoes of 2020. Okay. I feel like I wore my slippers more than anything because I feel like I've been home forever. But I did just order myself a really super cute pair of Ralph Lauren rain boots. And I don't know why it's hard for me to spend money on shoes that I wear in the rain. I think because you don't wear them every day. And every time it rains, you're like, oh, well, these are good enough. And it's not going to rain for a while. But I finally just decided, you know what? I want a pair of shoes that I don't mind wearing in the rain. And these are cute. And I'm glad I bought them this fall because I have had to wear them in the rain and it's worked out well.
Wow. Very nice.
All right, you guys, our last topic is a hot drink. And we thank you, listeners, for sticking around for this whole big long list. And you probably need to just sit down and have a hot drink and process all that we've talked about the last hour. Mindy, what is your favorite hot drink?
My favorite hot drink that my friend told me about, to make sure you get a fresh cup of coffee, no matter what coffee shop you're walking into, I order an Americano. And I just like black coffee. And so this is the freshest cup that you're going to get from a coffee shop because they have to grind the beans when you order it. And so basically all it is ground espresso beans with hot water. But I love it. I love my hot black Americano. And I can ask for that at any coffee shop. And it is a nice, fresh cup of coffee.
That sounds good. I've not tried that before. All right, Julie, what's your favorite hot drink?
Well, I'm all about the hot drinks. So my new favorite is a London Fog. I was familiar with that before, but I saw a new recipe that I wanted to try. And, you make it with black tea, which has never been my favorite tea, just kind of plain old boring black tea. But I use a tea called Constant Comment. Have you ever had that?
I probably have had it at your house.
Well, I love it. When we were first married, we went over to someone's house and they had made iced tea with it. And it was so amazing because it has orange peel and cloves in it.
Oh, that sounds
And it
good.
makes a really good iced tea. So I've had it that way, but I never think to drink it hot. So you just brew the tea and sweeten it if you want. I always put a little honey in mine. And then you add frothed milk with cinnamon and vanilla.
Oh, that sounds
stir
delicious.
it in the tea. It is so good. I'm having one pretty much every afternoon.
Oh, that'll be one of your habits for 2020. That's one of your best habits. Yeah. All right, you guys, this is a similar situation to the clothing. You guys are all up there with your fresh ground roasted beans and frothing your milk. And I'm like, this week I was in Aldi and I discovered that they sell the dark hot chocolate packets. Instead of just milk. And I thought, I'd love a good dark hot chocolate. So I bought some and they were good. So if you don't want to froth your own milk or grind your own beans, head over to Aldi and treat yourself to the dark chocolate hot chocolate.
Now, can you just add water?
That's what I did. But I'm sure you
'cause
could do milk.
I don't like it when you have to add milk, you know?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
that's
You can
good.
just add water. Yeah.
Okay.
And they're elevated a little bit. I didn't read the instructions totally, but it worked. They kind of come in those Keurig cups. So I think you could put them in a Keurig machine, but I just opened it and poured it into my hot water.
Yeah.
I hope that was okay.
Hey, you enjoyed it. That actually sounds really good because I'm not a milk chocolate lover, but I love dark chocolate. That sounds delicious.
Yes. So I did buy the milk chocolate, which was a little bit cheaper, and I put that in the pantry for the family. And then in my own private stash, I put the dark hot chocolate.
Put the cheap stuff out for the family.
That's right.
And I have no shame.
That's right.
All right, listeners. Well, we are so happy that you stuck with us, and we hope that you get your hot drink of choice and enjoy it. And we're so happy that you've listened to us this year. We're all celebrating the end of 2020, looking forward to 2021, but we do acknowledge that there were a lot of great things about 2020. And I think there'll be a lot of things that we look back on with fondness, even if it's only the things in this list. So take our ideas. Obviously, this is much longer than a usual I'm a Fan. I will do my best to include links in the show notes. But if there's something that you really want to know that we talked about, private message us on Instagram and I'll be sure and get back to you. On Instagram, we're Midlife Matters Podcast, or you can email us at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com. Happy New Year, Julie and Mindy.
Happy New Year, girls.
All right. We'll see you again in 2021.
All right.
Wait.
It's got to get better, right?
Yes. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We're so happy you joined us today. You can find the show notes for this episode at midlifematterspodcast.com. Also, please tell a friend about the show and help them hit the free subscribe button on their favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast. That's where we post pictures and stories about all the things we talk about in each episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.